Nice backyard in this hotel. I checked in at 1:30 in the morning. Excuse me, in the morning. Oh, they always put the receptacles behind the bed. Always. Dumb, huh? And nothing on the wall, except all the way over there. You'd think that they'd have, since they have all the rooms the same, they'd have a setup where they put the plug right there, one on the bed, plug your computer or your phone in. If you have to do some work in bed or read your, what do they call it, a Kindle. Let's see, the safe, sometimes they charge you $1 for the safe. The sink is separate from the bathroom, and the light's on the wrong side. Oh yeah, 5-gallon flush. Wonder if the filter's been cleaned in this fan. Nope. Clean regularly. Yeah, once every 10 years. Let's see what's wrong with this bathtub. This thing just turns and turns and turns. The stopper's busted off. When you turn on the shower, you lift up a little knob, and way too much water goes down the drain. It was worse earlier. And the shower head is kind of worn out. But it's solid in the wall. And discussion plate. Never use them. Junk. There's off. Time for a new spout. $10. And how's the toilet? How's the discussion plate? Rusty. 5-gallon flush. Yeah, all that nice fresh water. Unbelievable how much water the toilet wastes. Fresh, drinkable water, not gray water. And a crappy flush at that. Okay, see ya. Road trip. I should have made a video. There was a machine a mile or so back digging holes for posts. A hole saw? I'm talking a 3-foot, bigger than 1 meter hole saw for putting in monster post bases, like for poles like that. One giant, oh, it was a big machine. They are doing endless construction here. We're just north of Horsham, Pennsylvania. I think we're on 202, heading north. Let's see where we are. Help me, where am I? I'm on a road that just goes on and on. There's no way to get to an interstate. See, those are for earth, digging up earth. But this was a hole saw for drilling into rock with carbide tips. Each one was this big. Oh, I should have made a video of that. They were freaking awesome. Yep, I am in Wrightstown, between Fairway Drive and Deer Run Drive. We're in the suburbs. Sprawl, get away from the inner city. Looks like a golf course in here. Interesting neighborhood. I wonder what the taxes are like. The winters are long and cold and the bugs are biting, and there's an apartment complex. Landlord. Revenue property. The Bucks Club. Saw some little building, a barely 1-story high little old restaurant. Demolition time. Middle Bucks Institute of Technology. We're in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Or as Sylvester Stallone would say, Pennsylvania! Succotash! Or was that in a different cartoon? Nice old buildings. Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And a subdivision on the back 40. The old and the new. Tile drainage. New bridges, concrete forming machines, road grader, beer cans from the riffraff passing through. Time for a new bridge, extra wide. Actually, that's the old bridge. Huh. Whatever. It's a big structural improvement. Putting in some posts, digging up all the rock, all the bedrock. Things change. Quiet 2- or 3-lane road turns into a inner city highway or an exer-city highway. It's almost July 4th. Happy 4th. Tomorrow. Sugar Bottom Road and York Road. 202. US 202. Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Jog it. Hope those knees last. Tough on the knees jogging. Gotta get a good stride. I don't jog. I just walk around car show parking lots. You buying more junk? Nice old tree. Oh, summer is beautiful here. Sweet and short. Sweet and short. Buckingham Township. Buckingham Township. Bucks County, Buckingham Township. The old farm. Things change, life goes on. The sag in the roof just doesn't mean much anymore when they tear it down. Buckingham Township. This thing's not idling properly. All of a sudden last night it started to shake, shimmy, and roll. Idle dropped and it was going. Idle air control might be carboned up. Wow, the old 1850 homestead. Hard to heat. Metropolitan Development Group. Things change. Out with the old and in with the new. Things change. Subdivision in the back 40 and the front 40 and the side 40. Farmland becomes development land. One guy gets rich and things change. People live to the suburbs, move to the suburbs to live in the country. There he goes. Can't stop development and you can't stop City Hall from taking away your land. You can't fight with City Hall. This property conserved by Heritage Conservancy, and I see why. Just like the way it used to be. Elm Grove, original Wilton Pen. There's something beautiful in there. Wow. Acreage preserved. Lahaska Creek. Some properties. Kind of like we have in the country, but we've got our stuff for sale, and it's just for sale and for sale and for sale. No buyers, people making potshot cash offers. We got some nice land. But there's prisoners running across it, so it's not valuable till they get caught. 202, 32 south. What? I want to go north. Well, I don't want to go north, but I got to. Gotta get back to work. Mrs. CW is struggling without me. Right on the road. Oh, gorgeous property. Garage, auto repair. Slate roof. We need a new roof on our house, and the slate guy says, just put architectural shingles. They're good to go. 2.5 story. Wow, old stuff. Peddler's Village, the Cock and Bull. I knew a guy in Montreal had a restaurant. 40 years, the Cock and Bull, the Peter Barry Band. So I'm running my shop 25 years ago, whatever it was. And a guy comes in, he just bought a 68 Camaro convertible at an auction, just 15 minutes earlier. And a bunch of stuff wasn't working on it, typical old car. At the time it was, what, 20 years old, or 68, 78, 88, 98, 25-year-old car. So I'd never met him before. He heard about my shop or whatever it was, just a hole-in-the-wall, crappy shop, Soulbury Township. And I fixed it for him, and then he brought me his Cadillac Seville, probably in early 80s. It was 10 years old, and it was rusty in the back. Low miles, 60,000 miles or 100,000 kilometers. But it was rusty. Too bad, nice car. Wow, stone side-by-side duplex. Interesting. Different stone on both sides. They added an extension. They got different stones from different part of the field. Anyhow, his name was Peter Barry, and he was a band leader in the 50s, the 40s and 50s. And one day I'm looking at a picture of my grandparents, my grandmother. I think my grandfather had died. My mother's father died in an accident back in 1953. This was in the late 50s. And in the background of this photo, I gotta think who was in the photo. In the background of the photo is the band with the sign. And the sign said, Peter Barry and his orchestra. And here it is, 40 years later, and here's a guy with a 68 Camaro convertible, nothing special. And his name was Peter Barry. I said, The next time I saw him, or a little while later, I said, "Are you the Peter Barry that was the orchestra leader?" He says, "I had a band. And I had a bar called the Cock and Bull on St. Catherine Street, Rue St. Catherine." And there he was. From a young man at the band with my grandmother, and maybe it was my mother's wedding to my father. Boy, that picture's still around. I know it is. My mother has it. And right in the background, you can see it. It's dim, but there it is. Peter Barry and his orchestra. And I was fixing his car, and I kept in touch with him for years and years. I'm sure he's gone now. I even went to the restaurant that he had. He kept the restaurant, but he was renting it. He was in his 80s. And he kept on buying these cars at the auction. And he'd bring them to me and I'd fix them, because I would fix anything. I would fix anything. If it was broken, I'd fix it. Peter Barry and his orchestra. Saw him, huh? Time marches on. Stone house after stone house after stone. I guess stones are cheap, huh? And I kept in touch with him well into the 2000s. And that's even 10 years ago now. And I'm sure he's gone. I don't think he's 95. He said he had a good time. Yeah, he says that was the place to meet. At his Cock and Bull restaurant on the lower level on the Rue St. Catherine. That's a long time ago, 20-something years ago, that I knew him, and he hadn't been in the restaurant business at that point for 10 or 20 years. But he brought me the cars, and I fixed them. What else did he bring me? About a Jeep, maybe, some Cherokee. Rear-wheel drive, no, a four-wheel drive Grand Cherokee, but the big old one, the last carbureted engine, probably late 80s. Everybody had gone to fuel injection, but Jeep stuck with it on their Grand Cherokee, the big slab-sided one, the same body style from the 60s. And he had one of those. Reminiscing. I got pictures of all kinds of stuff sitting in the basement in a tub. And I looked at them 10 or 15 years ago, and a bunch of them were stuck together, and I closed the lid and I said, I'll never look at these again. It's too depressing to go back and see all your friends, all the young faces, and now we're all old. Driving through Pennsylvania in a Suburban. Could be worse. Need flowers? Bring your honeys from Flowers. So you can go buy here, pay here. On a used car lot. Logan Square, Lower York Road, Pennsylvania, Route 202. Bucks County Children's Museum. For sale. Needs the grass cut real bad. Trucks, buses to Jersey must turn left. The accent's gone from the deep south and on down wrong. That was so interesting. That was so interesting. Toll Bridge to Jersey. New Hope. Potholes. What a beautiful day. Beautiful bank. Reminiscing. Life goes on, huh? Life goes on.